over the estimate. So if you wanted to be a little more conservative, I'd be happy to reduce that request if you felt that to be appropriate.
I think I'd like to leave it at the 7, otherwise you need to start again with our friends.
Well, and that's the reason for the 7, was to avoid coming back to you for something in an emergency situation near the end of June. And in any case, if the balance would remain unexpended in the reserve account or in the Medicare line, it closes out to free cash.
Exactly.
In either case. So that's what's before you for your consideration tonight. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Well, first, I'm glad you rounded up. That's how I would have treated it myself. And as far as your trend goes, approximately 4%. And that's 2% COLA, 2% fixed increases each year. That's pretty close to it.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wonder if the model wasn't built properly years back.
I can't speak to that. I just know what it is, and I just looked at what the trend shows. In my memo, I also suggested that we consider increasing the Medicare line in the FY16 budget at fall town meeting, just to avoid being back here next year at this time.
That was what my comment was going to be.
Yeah.
We'll have at least 6 months of data at that point. So.
Yeah, when we get to fall town meeting, we'll have some history, but we have the prior 5 years' history, which will give us an indication of where we probably should be to realize the true expenses.
Gotcha. That makes sense to me. Any questions for anybody else?
I know it's premature perhaps, but with respect to the increasing the line item, should we be conservative there as well and maybe go 5% as an increase or something?
Sure, and I think we can discuss that as we get closer to town meeting. I don't know what I recommended in the memo, just because it's not fresh in my mind.
4.5%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
4.5% is what I recommended, but we could go 5,
0.5%,
and then that's fine, as long as there are resources to support it.
True.
Yeah, yeah.
Always. And the fire department, as most people know, have been out for the entire week on 2 fires.
They have, yeah.
And 16 towns total.
Well, I think the winter snow and ice removal didn't help either. A lot of snow this winter, a lot of overtime.
I move that we approve the benefits manager request for a reserve fund transfer in the amount of $7,000 from to account number 019195174.
A second.
Okay, we've got a first and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
4-0 passes.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming out, Kevin.
Now, Chief Murray asked me to speak to his reserve fund transfer as well. He's unable to attend tonight due to the wake of Marcia.
That's tonight.
Yeah, it's tonight. Yes, so I'm happy to speak to that if you'd like,
Please.
so that we can address that. So as you may or may not know, the animal control officer has elected to retire, and the reserve fund transfer is specifically to pay for an advertisement to backfill the position. The chief has shared with me that certainly the need to place the ad was unforeseen. It wasn't known until about 6 or 8 weeks ago, and the chief's analysis states that the budget can't support the added cost of the advertisement. The budget's relatively small anyway, and I don't have the exact numbers. This is what he shared with me. But right now there is projected to be a small amount of money remaining as of now, but the chief believes he may need that between now and the end of June for boarding of some animals. So he'd rather act on the safe side and ask for the funding for the unforeseen cost of the advertisement.
So this is only for the advertising?
Just for the advertisement.
It looks like it's been going on for a few weeks, this advertising. I know this isn't...
I can't speak to that specifically. I don't know. I know he's been actively working to fill the position for July 1st.
Yeah, there's an opening balance, but it's advertising related. I can't think of what else the police would advertise for. Top of my head.
Could be detailed stuff, but it may have nothing to do with us. So the amount he's asking is $1,065?
So it's about 100 credit he's subtracting from that.
Yeah.
So the numbers make sense if that's what it's all for.
So I apologize for not having more details, but this was, I
It's an
agreed to
unusual
pinch hit,
circumstance.
so I
So it's just
convey
the
as best I
3
can.
help wanted ones? Do we think, is that what it
Well,
is?
it looks like 3 help wanteds plus some prior ones carrying forward. So that's, I guess the question is when...
What the priors
when
are?
when did we start advertising for the animal control officer position? the hesitation is that's a balance board from pre-March.
these advertisements were done in April. So I certainly would condone, approve, agree with transferring a sufficient amount of money to the chief's budget for the current expenses, but I think we should ask him what the prior balance is and how long it's been there and what was it for, before we just pay for it. Especially if it's not related to the animal control officer's budget.
Do we think that he needs it immediately, or maybe sit on it until next meeting?
I can't see the Neshoba Publishing turn down the town.
No,
Yeah.
For
It
2
wouldn't
weeks.
be the first
Yeah.
bill from them that didn't get paid the
Right,
first
so,
time it showed up.
I think we just sit on it,
Postpone
wait
it.
for more information.
Why don't we hold off on the RFT? I'll send a note to the chief, copying the town administrator and
And Lisa too, so maybe she
Chairman
could
Hood.
print she would know what the $958 was for, rather than put you
I
in
apologize for
the-
not having all the details. This happened in the last 20 hours or so
It's all right.
to
It's
pinch
not your
hit. So
budget.
yeah, that's all right.
Your budget, I might be a little harder.
so I'll compose something.
Okay.
Just get some clarification.
Defer to the next meeting? We don't know yet. Defer to the next meeting?
Why don't we plan on that? Defer to the
June 10th?
June
Thank you.
10th meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. How's Peter?
Thank you very much, Kevin.
How's Peter? Give him my best. I miss him on the walks.
Thank you for asking.
All right, I will take that. And did anyone have a chance to look at the information on the Stony Brook pumping station? That's the latest and greatest.
I read the warrant article, but, and the
Yeah, that's
backup for it and the rationale, but if I had any questions, I'd ask the audience, because she knows more about the Stony Brook pumping station than most anybody in town.
So what's my understanding, I was not at the last selectmen's meeting. Mary, I'll invite any input you have, certainly. I know you attend more of those than I do.
Well,
Mr. Wetzel did not submit his paperwork in time for the capital committee nor for the spring warrant, and is still in need of a pumping station.
well, Mr. Chairman, he couldn't have submitted it because he didn't put the bids on. He didn't bid it out, and this was May of 2014, we approved it. He didn't put the bids out until this year. They were opened, I believe, on May 7th,
Yeah, recently.
and they came in higher. Hello. And he was questioned, why did you let it go for so long, considering that he's pushing to get all these done. So we're going to, we built up some reserve in the free cash from the sewer enterprise, and that's what we're going to have to reduce to budget this.
Exactly. So my interpretation of what I've read in these notes from his memo as well is, after not meeting the deadlines correctly for the spring warrant, he approached the selectmen and said, can we pull this out of UDAG? There's approximately $250,000.
Yes.
That's what he needs, 250,000.
That's it.
And by my own guerrilla math, that's close to 16% of what's in UDAG, so I can understand why the selectmen said no. It's not a piggy bank, in my humble opinion.
You're correct.
So effectively, by piggybacking this warrant onto the already existing special town meeting for June 8th, we're following the process that should have happened in May in terms of putting it before the town meeting to vote on. It would have just been another bullet item, another borrow item on our meeting a couple weeks ago.
And it has to go to town meeting for approval. It's not sudden and unforeseen. It's a lapse in follow-through, perhaps, from a 2 years ago funding article, and it's not the first one we've had from the department. And I think that needs to be addressed.
That's a big price for this pumping station.
And if we don't approve it now, it's gonna be more.
Because we transferred $450 from the West Main,
Right.
so this makes it high. So we did in the past, Mr. Chairman, when we did these, we funded first the design of it and then the actual thing, and maybe we need to go back to that practice instead of just voting one amount and finding out that it's not.
Not enough.
That's a good point.
And if we don't do it now, it's going to be more next year,
Oh,
or the next time,
Sure.
or the next time, because these bids won't be qualified.
Article. So, I'm going to paraphrase, but I do have a draft of the warrant. And for the Stony Brook issue that we're talking about, to see if the town will vote to authorize the treasurer with approval of the board of selectmen to borrow $250,000 for the sewer enterprise fund for the purpose of the additional cost of Stony Brook. And it's the standard language we use for all these. There's an explanation provided for the voters that show up for town meeting. So I guess our issue today is to say whether or not we support it, meaning I don't want to bias anyone's opinion with my opinion. Try to figure out how to call the roll on this one.
To borrow 250?
Yeah, it's, you can take a look, Chris.
I mean, I don't want to color anyone's opinion either, but
Because the way to phrase it is, I guess what I'll do is call for a vote to see if we support the article as written. That's a yay, nay.
I'm certainly disappointed in the manner in which we're forced to make this decision, but I would just as soon let town meeting make the decision.
That kind of money, I agree. Absolutely.
I don't want to make a recommendation to them that we support this this is my personal opinion, support this unabashedly and have them rely on the finance committee, because they have relied on the finance committee over the last several years, and we can take no position, just like we can take a supporting or negative position.
So we're just voting on the wording of the article.
Whether
Right.
we support it or not.
Whether we
Just as we did the other 41 a few
Right.
weeks ago.
Right.
And the warrant has already gone out, so it says right here, we will report at town meeting. We can take no position or turn it down, but if we turn it down, we run the risk of having the town meeting follow our step, which I don't recommend either.
Right. Well, I don't see the issue with it.
I mean, as a comparative example, we approved, or I didn't get to town meeting, but the town approved $170,000 to pay the transfer station
Mhm.
after rejecting the article a couple of years ago for $100,000. So
Right.
it's almost double what it's going to cost because we were going to close the transfer station.
I don't see any sense of kicking it down the road as much as I'd like to see it go through the normal process of capital committee, then we
Right.
set the sewer fees appropriately, et cetera.
But I do think we could at least say something, well, I don't know how the selectmen reacted to the request, but we can't look favorably on things that are done late.
Mhm.
No, I agree. It should have been included in May.
Especially when we have two engineers in the department now.
I agree.
I'll be the
But-
bad guy and make a motion that the finance committee take no position and report at town meeting.
I can't second it.
Well, you can if you want to, but
Oh, I thought the chair never seconds.
no,
I'll second that.
there's no real rule about that.
Oh, I thought it was Muldoon never did either. Let's see, I got a first and a second to take no position. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? There being none, 4-0. We can certainly speak to the distinction at town meeting.
If town meeting goes that direction, we can then voice our own personal opinions or not.
There was a lot of discussion, Mr. Chairman, at the selectmen's meeting about it.
About the process, how we got here.
And namely, the question was, why did you wait almost a year to bid this out?
Was there an answer?
There's the answer, okay.
Yep. I've seen that answer a lot.
But you're almost forced right now. What
Exactly.
can you do?
So we're gonna put that one to the side for now. Just procedurally, do we hold this for Scott to sign, I guess?
No, I think you're chairman tonight, so you can.
Yeah, I guess I can.
Doesn't have to. Just
I'm gonna
says
hold
by
on.
the committee.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold on to the one for the police, but I'll take care of this one.
And just write vice chairman
Yeah.
before, and then it'll be covered.
Beautiful. Next up on the agenda is the proposed zoning changes at Devon's. And That was interesting reading.
Mhm.
This is basically a 5-part question, I think. 4-part question.
Are there only the 4?
Yeah, I thought there were 5, but there's only 4.
Oh, there's subparts of subparts of
Mhm.
subparts. That's where I'm getting a little confused.
So I'll just speak to each in summary, then we can discuss what we would like. Change number 1 would be to allow senior residential uses in the Shirley Village Growth District, which basically is the undeveloped area behind the middle school. Second was proposed zoning change was to allow healthcare usage in the Shirley Village Growth District, again, the area behind the middle school. Number 3 was changes to Rogers Field Willowbrook corridor. In essence, there was going to be a swap of zoning in that area. That's the area near Vicksburg Square as reference. They, I guess, presumably being Mass Dev, found it more favorable to move some of the deeded conservation land to make space for more net zero homes. And finally, zoning change number 4 deals with the southern portion of Grant Road. And they're going to allow for more light industrial research and development at that end. The key takeaway, in my humble opinion, on all 4 is all 4 lie within historic Shirley. If the land was, and I confirmed that with the town administrator because I was trying to read these tiny maps. Were the towns ever to decide to, or allowed to reclaim what had been the historic boundaries, none of this touches there. I'm not an expert on Shirley's finances, but I would be shocked if they wouldn't want more light industrial and industrial properties to tax in their town given the current situation. I think the reason that Mr. Hood put this on the agenda is the fact that we're tied to them financially, at least with the schools. Normally, I don't think we'd even discuss this.
Yeah.
And last but not least, the only one that caught my eye was the healthcare district. Again, the SHOBA does employ air people and such, but it does look like a direct competitor as I read it. This is more of a walk into the dentist kind of thing as opposed to go have your hernia fixed. That's how I read
Right,
it.
no hospital type thing, but just doctor's offices is the way I understand.
That's how I
it,
read
too.
it. Does anyone else have any input on these? I don't want to dominate the conversation.
Shared. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, my comment was exactly what you said, is why does Ayer care? If it is all Shirley, why does Ayer care? Go ahead. You know, it's gonna bring jobs to the region. The Ayer residents will get jobs out of it.
Well, if they do build out the senior housing, there's 200 plus more residents downtown Shirley. It can only help.
And I
local
don't believe
businesses.
it'll compete with ours because we have waiting lists now.
Mhm.
Population's unfortunately getting older and older and older too. I don't think the healthcare district will compete with our healthcare district, which has the hospital,
Mhm.
medical office buildings, and so on and so forth.
Well, and it's not hospital, right?
No,
Yeah.
but we have a healthcare district as well, but ours contains the hospital and the nursing home, our rehab center, and medical office buildings. This is not going to compete with
Right.
our healthcare district, and I don't think it's going to compete with the few doctor's offices that are outlying the healthcare district. And that's the biggest objection Ayer could have, is that
It's
because
gonna take away customers.
it's not supposed
Yeah.
to compete. Devon's isn't supposed to compete with any of the towns.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think we need a yay or nay vote on this. I think it's just more for discussion. Let the town know we did look at it.
Yeah.
This really, I don't see it impacting us unless it's something obvious. But I don't
No,
think
I think if anything, it's probably good for the region as a whole.
Yeah, I think
I
so
agree.
too.
It's just going to provide more healthcare services to everybody.
Let's see, moving on, we had stricken items 3 through 6 on the agenda. For committee updates, nothing on capital planning, obviously, we're done. The school building committee, I'm trying to remember why we had. We last met right after town meeting. And the school was awarded the Northeast Region's Ed Kirkbride Award of Design Excellence, which is pretty cool. So that went
Nice.
to the committee as well as the architects. On schedule, right now the kitchen's the focus. What had been the junior high for anyone who went to that school, meaning the back wing closest to softball, is no more. That's dirt.
There's a lot of dirt up there. I
Yeah,
see
I-
the tiles, they move around.
I checked the plan, it's supposed to be gone, so it's good. Let's see.
Yeah, but there's a big pile where the tennis courts used to be that caught my eye this past week, or Monday, I guess it was, and I thought, I literally thought the dirt had moved from one side of the parking lot
It's
to the
possible.
other.
It's possible. There was a sewer line issue under the kitchen, so they had to pull a lot
Oh,
of
there
to
you
get
go.
under there.
Oh, wow.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, how do you get in up there now? All you see is a maze. Where do you go into town meeting?
If you were to pull up to the rotary, which will be, where buses will get off in the morning, if you were standing on the rotary to your left,
What rotary?
right
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Imagine how you used to get into the auditorium, the old layout.
Well, you
To the right
went
of
into the parking lot. It was
And it was
very
right
busy. It was
there.
right in front of you.
to the right of the door you used to go through is a new door that you'll use. There'll be a sign out there and a spotlight in case it gets dark.
Nobody trips over the dirt. Why are we having?
Oh, it's paved. I go up there all the
It just
time.
looks like a maze when you
I know.
drive by, and I thought, I wonder
I've heard comments. that
where we get in
it's
to go to
confusing.
this meeting.
Yeah, it will be signed. We've done that for all the building committee meetings and any other public ones we've had there. I'll draw you a map.
You can follow the crowd too. I'm sure we'll have tons of
Yeah.
people up there.
At least let's hope
We
we
get 50
50.
with.
That's my biggest fear about this
Mr.
meeting.
Chairman, while we're mentioning school, would you, and a couple of people have asked me, there's been so much in the paper about the school budget, if you could give a, quick down and dirty, because we read that they didn't certify this, and then there was going to be something else discussed, but they were waiting for June 13th to find out from the state. What does this mean to us with regards to the regional school budget?
In the short term, all the eggs are in Shirley's basket. And to explain what I mean by that, as you know, from the point where the school committee first votes their budget, they've got, I think it's 45 days to get both towns to sign on. As you know, Shirley didn't. We did. Dr. Malone got an extension from the Department of Education for another 2 weeks or so to go back to Shirley. I believe that's part of their special town meeting. As you know, it has to be the same time as us because it's Devon's, but they have.
No, they took that off. From what I read in the
Oh.
paper, they took it off.
That's news to me then, Mary. Maybe you get more current info
That's-
than I do.
It was on the front page of the paper that.
Lowell Sun or Public Spirit?
I don't.
Don't remember.
But it was June 13th they expect to hear. Pat Kelly was explaining it, that it was more confusing because I thought it was on for the same
The
night
8th,
as the
yeah,
super.
I did
And they
too.
said, no, they may have to have another special town meeting.
Last I heard, the only reason for another special town meeting would be if they said no again at this upcoming special. So it sounds like my information's older than yours, Mary. I've got building committee again next week. I'll find out. I'll ask Dr. Malone. I'll let you know. So
It wouldn't impact what Ayer is paying.
no, our budget's certified. It's done. It could only be if they went back to Shirley and Shirley lowered. We would have to get the corresponding cut as well to keep it in that 60-40 percentage, roughly 60-40 percentage. So under that scenario, I could see where we need to vote again to pay less of an assessment.
Which hopefully won't be the case.
Hope not.
But if Shirley doesn't approve it a second time, then we go to super town meeting
Mhm.
and it should pass there.
But then it would be the cost of another town meeting.
Exactly.
But the school pays for that.
I think
The
it
school
might-
would have to pay for that because it's their budget.
Well, who pays for the school? We do.
Well, yeah, good point. True.
This is a chicken and the egg thing, all right.
Yeah, sorry about that. I wasn't thinking about that.
I think, Mr. Chairman, that it was on the public spirit. And Pat Kelly had a whole explanation also of,
I'll read that but when I get
Yes.
home. I didn't read it this weekend.
Yeah, I'll take a look again myself. Thanks, Mary.
okay.
I think that was about it. Okay. And let's see, I can vouch that there was no by-board meetings recently, no regional leadership. I can't speak for personnel. Leave that to Scott. Talk about our roundtable. Does anyone have anything for discussion at the table or in the audience?
I think I just asked you. And
Okay.
I had several people ask me that, and I said, I don't know, there's been so much talk, and then reading in the paper. Do you have any, I know this was Scott that was here, but a few years ago, the personnel board was talking about coming up with a new performance evaluation, because the current one, I don't know if you've ever seen it or done it, it looks like it was for some great big company.
Yeah, it was more of a corporately designed,
And
because the
I
gentleman who
put
did
a
it
lot
was...
of it just NA when I did it, and Robin had said the personnel board was going to come up with a new one, and then we had no personnel board for a while, and then they were working on other things, so I don't know if you know per se whether anything was done, because I think it's something we need to do, and I didn't think that, I brought it up to the Board of Health meeting, and none of them had done it before, so.
Yeah, the process we have now, we're supposed to have annual refresher training for all the managers, and that hasn't happened since Sean Zahowski left, and it didn't happen during his tenure, so
We're talking 8 years. More.
minimally, maybe more like 10 that it hasn't even been done. It
I don't disagree. That's an important thing. I don't think we're going to see any action until they finally put that non-union
Compensation.
compensation
Yeah,
stuff
together.
to bed. Okay, our next meeting is, it's the town meeting. Hopefully we have 50 people there.
Our next
And
meeting is June 10th.
We'll be at the high school if Mary can find us. And then the next regular FinCom right now is set for the 10th. I might send Scott a note saying, do you have enough to fill an agenda? Do you want to get together? But I'll do that informally.
When you do that, could you just remind him, if we do meet, to get the legal update on the legal cases that before the end of the year, so sometime in June, it doesn't have to be the 10th.
That's a good idea.
So that we know what is going on with those
Great.
for our funding
Yeah.
requests.
If I make one quick question, and I had no intention to go until the super town meeting until this came up on Stony Brook, but if we do not have,
I didn't hear
50.
you say that.
yes, I did, I don't care what they do with them, it doesn't affect me. Do not care.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
So, in view of the fact that we need 50 interested residents up there, and we don't get them, what's our plan B, I wonder?
Pull out the cell phones and call people like they did before.
Well, no, I'm saying that
It's sad.
if there's nobody there to approve, there's not 50 residents there to approve this Stony Brook, and when we only had 89 at the annual town meeting, then I don't know, maybe you could find out what is our plan then. I think that the superintendent said they'd hold that bid for 30 days.
Yeah, they do run out. They expire. They don't water.
That's a good question.
I try to come up with something every once in a while.
I need to ask Mr. Potbrand. Don't know off the top of my head. Does anybody have anything else? Would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn?
Go ahead in case it's your last meeting, Kathy.
I move that we adjourn the meeting at 7:33 p.m.
I've got a first. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a first and a second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.